Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavai Tejasvina Vaditamastu Ma Vidvishavai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om, may the divine being look over us lovingly as a mother and father. May the divine being support and nourish us as a mother and father. May we have the strength and skill to study together the art of spirituality. May no misunderstandings arise amongst us. Om, peace, peace, peace be unto thee, unto us, and to all your beloved children everywhere. O dearly beloved, make it so. Hari Om Tat Sat. So good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Sunday morning talk. The subject this morning is Kalpataru Day, but before we launch into the talk that will show us why Kalpataru Day was an inevitability for Sri Ramakrishna, there's a little material that Cindy will read for us.
On January 1st, 1886, at about 3 p.m., Sri Ramakrishna shared an extraordinary experience with about 30 of his close householder disciples. We'll talk about this morning.
Now you'll notice I said that this encounter, about 7.5 months before he left the body, this took place on January 1st, 1886. Sri Ramakrishna left the body in mid-August of that year. He was staying at the Kashipur Garden House, and he had this extraordinary experience with about 30 or so of his close householder disciples. But before we motor on into that, let's talk a little bit about why I say it was inevitable for Sri Ramakrishna to have such an experience. Sri Ramakrishna came for no other reason than to offer us release from this world, as it says in Breaker of This World's Chain. He came to break this world's chain. He came to unchain us and set us free. This is what Vivekananda wrote of him. Now, he came for no other reason. There's no other reason for an avatar to come other than to set free and provide the opportunity for self-correction for the devotees. So from the time of his childhood, Sri Ramakrishna was an extraordinary, his childhood name was Gadadhar, which means carrier of the mace. The mace is that which is the transformative instrument for changing one thing into another, for shattering one thing and turning it into another. It's this huge military, so to speak, instrument that is used to shatter one thing, and of course then it becomes something else. So Gadadhar, he was Gadadhar. His father had gone on pilgrimage to Gaya and had a dream vision in which Vishnu appeared to him. And Vishnu said, I will be born as your son. And Khudiram, his father, said, oh, I'm not worthy of this. And the figure of Vishnu said, oh, don't worry, I'll take care of everything. Virtually simultaneously, it turns out later, Sri Ramakrishna's mother, Chandramani, is passing by a Shiva temple in the village of Kamarpukur, where Sri Ramakrishna was born. And this flood of wind and light comes out of the temple and enters her. And she immediately is aware that she's pregnant with child. So this is what she tells Khudiram when he comes home, and he tells her of her vision. And so Sri Ramakrishna is born in early 1836. As I said, even as a boy, Sri Ramakrishna was remarkable for his creativity. He was a painter, a sculptor, a dramatist. He had the remarkable ability, which is it's remarkable among avatars. It's less remarkable among them than it is among us. But he had this incredible ability to remember anything that he had heard. So he was able to restage dramas. He was able to restage readings of scripture and so on and so forth. So he never had to read any scriptures. He never read books. He simply remembered what was said and read in his presence. And so this boy grew up 10, 12, so on, until finally his older brother, invites him to Calcutta to help improve the family financial situation. Well, he comes and he does that. And eventually he's invited to become the temple priest for this new Dakshineshwar Kali temple. And I won't go into the details of the ifs and ands and buts about that, but he wasn't immediately enthusiastic, but he did it because his brother asked him to. And so he becomes a priest at this temple. Now he's about 19 years old at the time. So for the next, until he's 50 years old, Sri Ramakrishna continues to grow and develop and express the great spiritual treasures that he brought with him and that he nurtured as he did his spiritual sadhana, his spiritual journey. So little by little, he becomes this titan of spiritual gifts, which he is able to give freely to those who he chooses. Remembering, ye have not chosen me, I have chosen you. So those who receive his gifts, now as then, you can imagine you have been chosen. And we're receiving such a gift just this morning in gathering together in such a way and talking about him. Because any talking about him at all, as Chaitanya says, various are thy names, O Lord, and each and every name thy power resides. So as we're talking about Sri Ramakrishna, we're manifesting his power. Before I go on to anything further, is there anything that I have said that causes you to want to make a comment of your own, or ask a question, or raise a concern? All right. Sri Ramakrishna lived primarily at the Dakshineshwar temple on the banks of the Ganges, about 4 miles north of Kolkata, for most of his life. It wasn't until just at the end of his life where this Kalpataru Day incident took place, that he was moved to a garden house northwest of Calcutta, in a little place called Kashipur. But in the meantime, he had gathered around him a number of disciples, perhaps as many as 200. Some of whom were the young men and young women who would later go on to become monastics. And he had already conferred on them, by and large, conferred on them spiritual realization. So here we are now. He's suffering from cancer of the throat. He has been for some 2 or 3 years. It's very serious. And so he is moved to this place at Kashipur, where it's easier to treat him and take care of him. Now we've rolled around to January 1st, 1886. At about 3 o'clock that afternoon, Sri Ramakrishna is feeling a little better, just a little physically better. So he decides to go for a walk in the garden. And he comes down the stairs into the garden, and there are 30 some odd of his householders, disciples there, including Girish Ghosh. And so he says to Girish Ghosh, who comes to bow down to him, "You continue to talk to people about my being an avatar, an incarnation of God. What have you seen in me that makes you say such things?" Well, Girish Ghosh was not a man to be caught flat-footed. He said, "What can I say that Valmiki and Vyasa were unable to declare?" Now, Valmiki is the one who wrote the Valmiki Ramayana, the story of Rama's incarnation, and Vyasa wrote the stories of Krishna's incarnation. Well, Sri Ramakrishna was charmed by this answer and touched Girish Ghosh on the head and said, "Be illumined," or words to that effect. Well, this caused all of the rest of the devotees who were in the garden to come rushing forward and throw themselves at Sri Ramakrishna's feet. And so he indeed gave them all illumination according to their own desires and according to their own chosen ideal. Now, why is this of any significance to us at all? It's something that happened all that time ago. The answer is that Sri Ramakrishna has not gone anywhere, and his capability to confer this illumination is also ever present. He has come to unchain us and set us free. And so if that's our heart's desire, and we take his hand, he extends his hand to us. If we place our hand in his and let him pull us along, he will pull us to liberation, salvation. Now again, anything at all from anyone about anything that's been said that causes you to make a comment or ask a question or express a concern?
We are waiting to hear about the significance of Kalpataru. What is Kalpataru?
You mean the very word Kalpataru?
Yes, please. And its significance.
It means wish-fulfilling tree. A a Kalpataru is a wish fulfilling tree.
Thank you.
It's an ancient concept in the Vedic cultures. You know, there's various forms of wish fulfilling beings. Kamadhenu, a cow, Kalpataru tree. The word itself is not particularly significant. It's just that's what happened, and so and the day has been called Kalpataru.
Thank you.
It really doesn't express its great significance.
Thank you.
Thank you for asking the question, dear.
Brother, you don't have to answer this right now, but are there any auspicious suggestions for the observance of Kalpataru Day?
If you can spend pretty much your entire day, it's New Year's Day after all. If you can spend your New Year's Day contemplating what you want for yourself in the new year and being very observant of what your mind does and where it wanders when you find it wandering. Where does it wander? What is it yearning toward? This is all very instructive to you. So this would be a very auspicious observance of the New Year's Day, the Kalpataru Day. Anything that we can do that leans into our spiritual practice and encourages us to deepen it is going to be very, very good for us. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, brother. We're paying attention to what is drawing our mind away from
Away, what it draws away from, and what is drawn toward. Both. So, you know, what is it that we're attracted to, both in the worldly phenomenal sense and in the spiritual sense? And what is it that we're averse to, both in the worldly sense and in the spiritual sense?
At one place, I read this, that after Sri Ramakrishna touching his disciples who bowed down to him while he was taking a stroll in the garden, from that day, from that moment on, each disciple felt elated, as if enlightened. And that's why Shardanand Swami, he said that the Kalpataru Day became a wish-fulfilling day for every disciple.
Aha, there you have it, you see. It didn't end on January 1st, 1886.
Yes, yes.
It's there for each of us right now, which is what Saradananda was pointing to. He keeps pointing over and over in his book, The Great Master or The Divine Play. He keeps pointing out over and over that Sri Ramakrishna has not gone anywhere. There's nowhere for him to go. This is his manifestation. This is his universe. There's no other universe for him to go, no other consciousness for him to inhabit.
So it was like self-revelation.
Yes. Well, his whole life was one of self-revelation.
Yeah.
His whole life. from the time he was a boy.
Yeah.
Read the Punti, the portrait of Sri Ramakrishna, which has these wonderful chapters in the beginning about his boyhood before he's 12 years old. It's just stunning. What a human being had taken, or what a being had taken human form. So creative, so much fun. Just a pure sense of joy and delight and fun. Thank you, Uma. Anything else from anyone?
Brother Shankara?
Yes.
Okay, the word Kalpataru, more commonly used in Bengal, is preceded by a very, very ancient thought called Kalpavruksha, which means the same thing. But
Say it again. It means
Kalpavruksha means is the same as Kalpataru. Means it's a tree under which if you sit down and whatever you think of, you will get it.
yes.
So it is not just wish. Even something which is beyond your wish will be granted to you.
Uh-huh.
And that's why they use the word kalpa rather than vancha or vanchana and things like that one. So you sit down there and whatever fancy strikes your mind, you'll get it. So that is kalparuksha, which is actually a very, very ancient concept. But it also makes you aware that there you are not sitting down there just to wish more and more and more like King Midas, did. But on the other hand, you also take an inventory of what good has been done to you,
Mm-hmm.
so that you are also aware of what has been granted to you already. This is the reason why Oscar Wilde said, be sure what you pray for, you might get it. So
Indeed.
in our Chandi part, these are the two lines which are usually not enough emphasized. But when finally, after killing Mahishasur, when Devi says, now before I disappear, if you have anything to ask for, ask now, because then I'll be gone. To which Devas, who are devoid of any greed classically, they say, Bhagavata Kritam Sarvam Na Kinchit Avashishate. Whatever you have done is more than enough. We do not want anything more. That ability, that I don't want anything more, is something which human beings really have to learn about. Because we
Yes.
keep asking more and more and more and more until you start getting things that you do not want.
Well, we keep needing to be reminded that whatever we wish for and do achieve, accumulate while we're still embodied, we're going to leave all that behind when we leave this embodiment. So what's the point? Take what you need and leave the rest. There's no need for you to be worried about what's the very best. So you're absolutely right. Bhagarat, you're absolutely right. These are, don't be wishing for that which, and be careful what you wish for, because if you're sitting in the right place at the right time, you'll get it.
That's why Swami Vivekananda could not ask for anything when he went before Mother Kali. He
Yes.
knew that whatever he will ask for, he will get it. He knew he needed money for the sake of family, but he could not ask for it.
Nope. He finally had to ask Sri Ramakrishna to be the mother and intervene on his behalf and assure that his family would have plain food and clothing and adequate shelter, which they did for the rest of their lives.
Exactly.
Anything else from anyone?
Brother Shankara, just a cross-reference to the Kalpataru or Kalpvriksha. In Kundalini yoga also, like in Anahata chakra, I think there is a Kalpataru just at the bottom of it. And there is a beautiful story about that. First thing is, it says that you can reach only Anahata when you are really pure. That's when the Kalpataru really comes fruitful. When you wish something, it will happen. But for that, you need to be purified, like you always say. And the story goes like this. A person, he was just walking in a forest and he got very tired. He was hungry and he didn't realize he was sitting under the Kalpataru. And he wishes, I wish I could get something to eat. He got the food and he didn't realize how he got it. Then once his stomach was full, he said, oh, I wish I could sleep. And he got beautiful bed, a comfortable bed.
Yeah.
And it became dark. And then he got afraid. And if he was truly awakened, he would not have gotten afraid, but he got afraid and he said, my gosh, it is getting dark. Some animals might come and eat me. And that wish also got fulfilled. So I think it.
Oof. Yeah, just as Bhagavad said, careful what you wish for
Yes.
or think of. Yes. What a charming story. Thank you. So many stories are there. So many stories are there. We read the books, we read the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, we read Swami Shardananda's book, The Divine Play, or the Great Master, depending on who did the translation or interpretation. And we see that there are this just endless stories of the avatars. I mean, there are so many stories about Lord Jesus Christ, who was only with us in active form for 3 years. This is what we're told.
Isn't it also true that without your asking, actually asking, that the divine person feels what's in your heart and they know why you are there and what's bothering you?
Well, yes, dear, the divine being is the heart of your heart.
Yeah.
So we'll always know exactly what you really want. And it's only because we get distracted by things that it seems like we want, that we don't go more directly to what it is that we truly want, which is happiness and freedom from limitation. These are what we really want. We want freedom from our upadis, our limitations, and we want true unlimited happiness, which is the nature of our being. Unlimited happiness, ananda, is the nature of our being, and as in Satchidananda, absolute existence, absolute knowledge, absolute love or bliss. All of that is there. But the light shineth in darkness, but the darkness comprehendeth it not. When we're looking into the darkness, the light may be shining, but unless it reflects itself on something, we don't realize it.
It sounds like the ultimate wish then for Kalpataru Day is to wish to be wishless.
Ah, how nicely said. Yes, because each Wish is a limitation. Each wish brings with it an upadi or limitation. And however enjoyable that may be in the short term, it won't be enjoyable in the long term. It will ultimately become felt as a burden or limitation. So you're right. How sweetly said. Become wishless.
And like Uma said, you know, if you have a belief in a divine being that's looking after you, they know what you want and need anyway. And something I've gotten very interested in lately is decluttering, which is a curiously, I think, American thing, not so much anymore, but there's a thing that has popped up that's an old practice, actually, but it's called Swedish death cleaning.
Wow.
And it's fascinating. I've watched some YouTubes about it, and it sounds morbid, but it's not. It's something that people generally, as they approach, 60, 65, you can do it at any point. You can do it when you're 19, but they are usually their kids, if they've had them, have left the home, and they are downsizing and simplifying for the last part of their life. And it is going through your stuff and getting rid of all the things that you think your kids are going to want that they don't want. But it's not just about leaving a clean slate when you die for the people, for your heirs. It's what the process does for you.
Mm.
And the people who do this or try this method, who aren't Swedish, say that it freed them up, because it's a process of letting go of stuff. And when we let go of stuff that we've accumulated, a lot of it has emotional attachment. But if we go through that process of letting it go, and then all of a sudden we're freer than we were. And it seems appropriate to this talk to just mention this,
Very
because getting rid of stuff can be liberating in a lot of ways, but it's also a good spiritual practice. As is minimalism, which, I'm not a minimalist, but it's a good practice. There are all these sort of outward physical things. We're still embodied. And while we are, lots of things can be distracting, and it's good to cut down on the distractions, whether they're material or mental or emotional.
It's the realization of the lack of value of anything that's not spiritual.
Yes. It has utility, but not value. It may have utility. I mean, we need food, we need shelter, we need clothing, etc. But those things have only utility. They don't have any real value. Otherwise, they would persist beyond death, but they don't. Anything else from anyone? How are we doing for time?
Cindy made an excellent point. And she herself was sitting under a tree. I hope it was not a Kalparuksha, Kalpataru. I can see that behind you, Cindy. But anyway, if you do not declutter your mind, your thoughts, or your wishes, the alternative is going to be overclutter. And that is something we have to always keep in mind. And therefore, sometimes it's a good idea to let the wish go. What Cindy again said, have no more wishes. because those wishes are like rabbit constantly multiplying. There is no end to it. And I think that could be a far more solid message of the Kalpataru Day.
Well, everything that we wish for has a kind of gravity. And so it attracts itself to other things. There's this, the guna of rajas, the projecting power. So it projects itself onto something else and draws it, and accumulation.
Exactly.
And this is that story of the sadhu who needed to have a cat. So he got a cow to have some milk for the cat. And then he had to have someone to take care of the cow. So he got married. And so soon he was a householder, not a sadhu, burdened down with all these things. And instead of being free and free of limitations, he was set about by limitations. And so we have to be very mindful that this is possible for us. Just it'll creep up on you.
Brother Shankar, I'm reminded of Sri Krishna, what he said in Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna about 4 kinds of bhaktas. Number 1, he said, are the artha, dukhi, who are suffering. So they cry out to God, God help me. Second type, he says, are artharthi. Artharthi means, give me this, give me that, oh God, cure me of this, bring me a lot of money, fame, name, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So they are matlabi, what we call in Hindi. So they want things, material things. Give me this, that. Third type, he says, are the jignasu. Those are seekers of truth, which we are all more or less, we don't qualify, but we are trying to know the truth, seekers. And the 4th class, he says, they are totally egoless and they surrender to God. They don't want anything, they don't ask for anything. Just they take refuge in God and surrender to God. So this Kalpataru symbolism for me.
Very nice. Very nice.
Thank you.
I heard Swami Sarvadevananda say something that really made it easy to understand as far as material things, but he said, like, a baby doesn't know a thief. And he said that, if a baby is in his crib and somebody breaks in and steals all his diapers, the baby could care less. That, he doesn't have a concept of mine. And then, you pay attention to how much suffering comes from that idea of mine.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Well said, well remembered. The suffering does come from this idea that I am or have anything. I am the divine being, and I have nothing. I want nothing. That's ultimately the case, because, as has been pointed out, that which is this embodied being knows full well what is wanted and needed.
Brother Gaurav here.
Yes, Gaurav.
Well, my topmost wish to Divine Mother is give me unflinching faith. That's all I keep asking.
Say that again. Give me
Unflinching faith.
unflinching faith. Wonderful.
And kind of everything falls within it. There are two more wishes I generally ask for of her. Is give me buddhi and give me strength so that I can continue to follow your lead and do good.
Well, those are
I kind of find myself to be
spiritual wishes.
I do it almost feels that I'm a little selfish because I don't ask for anything for my daughter or my family or anything.
You don't need to ask for them, dear.
And it doesn't come naturally to me. I don't know.
The
Where
divine knows what they need. The divine knows what they've already. The divine has already been providing
Yes,
what they need.
absolutely.
So no need for you to fret yourself.
Yes, this comes naturally, and I don't know if it's Kalpataru day or every day. This is every day I wish to Divine Mother. That's it, and
Good.
it comes with my meditation. So
Thank you for reminding us,
Jai Ma.
Jai Ma. Anything else, dears?
Brother, this also reminds me what Paramhansa Yoganand said about materialistic thing and seeking God. He mentioned, pretty much everyone in this universe seeks the material things, the things which we are going to leave it here. But he said a true yogi always seeks the God himself rather than his creations.
Mm-hmm.
And somewhere else, I think some other teacher mentioned, why do we seek all these materialistic things? Because there is no U-Haul truck behind the hearse.
That sounds like Ken Wilber or one of the more modern teachers, Eckhart Tolle. The U-Haul truck. That's funny. No, we're not pulling a U-Haul truck behind us. Thank God. Those days are over with.
Although my mom has a friend who insists that when she dies, she's going to pull up to the pearly gates with her U-Haul.
Ah, we'll see what happens then.
Right. That's what I'd say.
My mom sent me a little meme thing, and it's this old dude with a walker, and he opens his garage, and it's packed 100%, like floor to ceiling. And he says, "Son, one day all this will be yours." and that is so my parents.
Oh, I'm
That's
sorry.
your burden. Your burden.
Anything else from anyone? This is exactly what we should be doing, having this kind of conversation among ourselves to help us further understand what it is that's being said. All right, just these final notes then.
Brother Shankara?
Yes, dear.
Yeah, so I wanted to do this Marana here with you. I love music and I have no talent in any musical. I can't sing, I can't play an instrument. So I have sometimes this magical desire that I should wake up tomorrow and be this great musician and sing everything and sing bhajans. But I think on Kalpataru Day, I'm going to give up that wish. Because I truly love music, I should be able to enjoy just listening. It doesn't have to be that I need to sing. So I think this has been a good thing for me to do manana on that.
Very
I need
good.
to get that obsession out of my head.
Well, it would be grand if you were able to sing, if suddenly you had musical gifts, but it's not likely. So it's best to just leave it be and just pass it by and say, well, you know, another lifetime perhaps, if indeed.
No, it's not on your
No, I
lifetime.
can't.
So namaste, brother Shailesh here. Can you hear me?
Yes,
So, on the same lines, what Swamji was saying, I have friends I hike with, and quite a few are older, and I've been analyzing this. What I've seen is that what you mentioned here is that the mind will try to accumulate all the desires which were not fulfilled, and it will try to bring up. And I was reading somewhere that those are the seeds which you are sowing for the next life.
bah,
And you will come back as a great musician if you have that strong desire. I'm telling you. So we really have to work on it to give it up. Otherwise, you will come as a, I mean, you know what? We have so many great musicians. I'm sorry. But I've been talking, and I always said to my friends, look, you want this and that, but be careful, because we have been given the wisdom to know what is right and what is wrong. It's better to give up everything and just face life, whatever it is. And like how you started the session, you said that the whole Kalpataru, the idea is that to sit quietly and meditate and see, what do I want for the next year? Forget about the whole life. What do I want for the next year, and what should I do for that? Or at least work towards that. And I think that's something amazing. And also what you said I liked is that we should really stay focused on what we need than what we want, because we are going to keep everything here anyway. So, why worry about that? Why worry that what was supposed to be the best thing for me to do? Thank you.
in terms of musicianship, you can imagine that Mozart did not accumulate his ability to write music so quickly and so thoroughly in one lifetime. A Beethoven, a Bach. These people have come many times, practiced their art and their craft until they're able to simply, music just flows from them like water from a spring.
Mhm.
Mozart said, I can't write it down fast enough. There's much more here than I can write down. And those are his words, very like his words. And so he just wrote the best he could, as much as he could. And everyone stands as one amazed. And conductors say that there's more in a Mozart piece than you can get the orchestra to play, simply because there's so many cross references that anyway, I don't understand conducting enough to know exactly what he means, but this business of things being cross referenced and repeated and thematically cohesive. And the same as of Beethoven. Beethoven gave these great thundering utterances. They come from beyond. They don't come from the limited human mind. Beethoven's Ninth, the Ode to Joy. That is a great anthem from beyond. Bach, you listen to Bach. And Bach said, anyone who works as hard and prays as much as I do could do as well. Those are, again, that's a paraphrase, but very close. So how are we doing for time?
Close to 12.
11:50.
11:50? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, is there anything that anyone would like to hear more about? Or shall I just simply wind this up on my own? Either way works fine for me.
Shankara?
One
Yeah.
question. Go ahead.
No, please go ahead.
One question, Brother Shankar. We discussed a lot about not having the kind of selfish wish, like give me this and that and material things. But what about other kind of wish? To bring yourself, your life in order, in harmony, that Bhagavad Gita is talking about. Some noble, higher wish, not for your own self, but oh Lord, let there be peace in the world, or let there be harmony, and let not people kill one another, etc. So there are wishes and wishes. So we can learn from the Kalpataru day what kind of sattvic wish we can have.
Well, if we are to be Sthita Prajna, dear,
Yeah.
we must have peace at the center of our being. And as Ramana Maharshi said, the greatest gift that you can give to the world is to know who you truly are. Because as a Sthita Prajna, or someone who knows who you truly are, you radiate into the world a kind of peace. You simply by being present in the world, you shed that as the sun sheds sunlight.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is the kind of wish that we can most auspiciously make.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need to worry about there's something wrong with making a wish. No, what is it that we wish for? And if we wish to be an instrument of peace in the world,
Mm-hmm.
what a great aspiration is that? Because there is so little in every, this is what, you remember the Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. The Maharishi Mahesh Yogi's aspiration was a very great one.
Mm-hmm.
When he began to offer training, I know this because Jerry Brunner was himself personally trained by the Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. Personal training, months at a time. What the Maharishi's aspiration was to get enough people to meditate to where it generated that vibration of peace in the world and would actually calm the world and make the world more peaceful. Now, who knows how much he succeeded? Who knows how much less peaceful the world would have been if he hadn't done what he did. But he did what he did. And at the peak, there were millions of people practicing transcendental meditation every day. There are still people who practice transcendental meditation. And I just met a woman not so very long ago at Matthew's Cafeteria here in town, or in Tucker, I'm sorry, that was still practicing. She learned transcendental meditation in 1977 and was still practicing. She was very cheerful, by the way. She had a very cheerful way about her, which is one of the ways that you can tell that someone has a spiritual center, or even if they aren't that terribly aware of it themselves. If they're cheerful, you know that there's something going on. So these wishes that we make on behalf of the world, they may be small, they may be intensely personal, or they may be as grand as the Maharishi Maheshwar's. That was quite an aspiration that he generated. And as I said, there's no way of knowing just how bad things might have been without his efforts, because they were great efforts. He had a great organization. Jerry told me about it, all about it. You know, it still exists. I mean, it hasn't gone anywhere. It's still, I think it's out in the Midwest somewhere. They have a college and are still training people. Jim Carrey, the actor, is a very big proponent of transcendental meditation. Anything else from anyone?
Brother Shankar,
Yes,
your,
sir.
your last point raises a need to differentiate between wishes and vibrations. What Uma was talking about, what you were talking about, for the sake of humanity, for the sake of the world, etc., there are vibrations that you are sending. These vibrations, when they are further strengthened by your actions, in that case, they take a shape. And that's the reason why those saints who were praying for the good of the entire world, it has been able to sustain the world. We might not see it, we might not hear it, because it's not a sensory perception, but they are vibes. And these vibes, electric medium in which we are living, play a principal role which we do not know.
Yes. Vivekananda said, not all of those who have great influence on the world are known. He said, a yogi may sit in a cave in the Himalayas and think one great thought, just that one great thought, after having, come slowly and slowly to that one great thought. Think that one great thought, and it will have such power that it will in some measure transform the world. Now this is Vivekananda speaking. So who knows, each of us is generating an influence in the world. No two ways about it, each of us, whether we be, a clerk in a grocery store, or a mechanic like John Mullen here in Tucker, that is one of nature's noblemen, one of the most honest and authentic human beings you'll ever meet. I mean, each of these people creates a ripple effect out into the world.
That's true.
And let us celebrate one another for our ability to be responsible in this way for generating positive energy in the world, and being aware enough to where when we begin to generate some negative energy, we check it. We put a stop on it and say, we don't need that. Anything else from anyone?
Brother Shankara, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Well, I don't know, it just reminds me something that I wish all of the world nations can realize that amount of money they invest in war is so much that if we can have that investment other way around, I think nobody can have go sleep hungry or even without shelter. But apart that, I also remember a story that I think one of the, cannot exactly remember where it came from, but there was a thief came to where one of the monk was staying outside somewhere, a village, and he started stealing stuff. And then he woke up, and then he ran behind saying that, hey, you forgot to pick up some more parts I have.
Yes, yes.
Got to get this stuff. Come back and get it. And that was interesting to me that sometimes we think so much stuff. I want this, want that, but then what? All that, can you use it, all of the stuff we have? I just want to share that.
Well, that's a wonderful story. And the rest of the story is that thief was then converted by the purity of that man who ran after him and said, wait, you forgot these pots and pans. So,
Brother Shankara, I
yes,
would like to share what I got right here on my desk. This is Swami Vivekananda's golden rule for success. Now we know we are not talking about success here, but whatever is your real wish of your heart. So this is what I'm trying to follow. And it says, take up one idea, make that one idea your life. Think of it, dream of it, live on that idea, be full of that idea, and just leave every other idea alone. This is the way to success.
and do you know who had a sign with that quote on his desk?
No.
Swami Yogeshananda.
Ah,
It was still here when I arrived.
I see.
This was why Swami Yogeshananda managed to create the center, because he did exactly what the Swami said in that thing.
Yes.
In that. So please read it again, dear, because it is so relevant to what we're talking about this morning.
Eloquent, very eloquent and practical.
Yes.
It says, and facing it on the screen, if you can read. It says, take up one idea, make that one idea your life. Think of it, dream of it, live on that idea, be full of that idea, and just leave every other idea alone. This is the way to success.
And this is why I said in the very beginning of today's talk that the Kalpataru Day, this January 1st, 1886, was an inevitability for Sri Ramakrishna. Something like this was bound to happen because that's why he came. He embodied exactly what the Swami wrote about there. He came for one reason and one reason only, to offer us freedom, to offer us liberation, to unchain us and set us free. And so we can accept that invitation. We don't need to worry about another lifetime. We can, the avatar, the incarnation, can wipe away all of the karmas that would lead to another lifetime. And so let us rest with great love and assurance in that assertion that the avatar can end this play now. The avatar can say something to you like, "You are mine, it is finished." And that will be the case. The avatar, the incarnation, is a living embodiment of Kashi, of Benares. You will achieve liberation from that being. You don't have to go somewhere or live somewhere at the end of your life. You just be whoever you are, but cleave to, cling to, make yourself an instrument of the divine being in the form of an incarnation. And as Christ said, seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all else shall be added unto you. All wisdom, all knowledge, all that was hidden will be revealed. And when all that is hidden is revealed and the full truth is known to you, all of your ignorance is dispelled. And so you can indeed then be part of that peace that passeth all understanding. How are we doing for time?
12:07, brother.
Say it again.
12:07.
Oh, so it's a bit afternoon. Okay. Anything else from anyone? All right, dear.
I would just say, be the change that you want to see.
Yes, precisely. Dear. If you are that change that you want to see, first of all, you will see it. And second of all, you will help produce it.
And for all the musicians here, play the music that you want to hear in the world.
Yes, by all means.
And sing with abandon, whether you think you sing great or not. It's about the heart.
Indeed it is, Jyoti. I'm
Yes,
glad
because
you said
it says in the Bible, make a joyful noise, not necessarily a beautiful noise, a joyful noise.
right. Make a joyful noise unto the Lord.
Well, and all that beautiful noise business is just human judgment. It's not. It's whatever the sound is with love in our heart that's what's important.
Indeed.
And I can add to that a little bit. Continue to have unflinching faith in the divine, as she's the one who owns everything, including you.
Well said, Gaurav. Well said. So, Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year.
Very Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
May you be well and in bright spirits. So Jai Shri Guru Maharaj Ki Jai. Durga, Durga, Durga. May we be safe. May we be healthy. May we be cheerful. May we have peace of mind. And may we go forward in the loving and protective embrace of the divine being known to us as the Mother and Father in the prayer that opens these sessions. So the next time we'll have an opportunity to be together will of course be Tuesday for our gospel reading and discussion. And then Wednesday for realizing God. Saturday for our discussion of divine grace. And then on Sunday, Saturday and Sunday, this coming January 6th and 7th, we'll have Swami Satyamananda with us. So looking forward to seeing you all.
Just to clarify, if anyone has any questions, the retreat is from 10 to 4 on Saturday and Sunday. There's been a few questions swirling around about that.
Okay,
With a break for a potluck lunch.
very good. All right, dears. Well, see you again soon. And
Jai Ma.
Yeah, everyone.
take care of your sweet,
Bye-bye.
wonderful selves.
Thank you.
I'm gonna close now.
Thank you.
Happy New Year.